Why you feel so deeply. Emotional depth psychology explained for highly sensitive minds. Have you ever looked around and wondered why everyone else seems to move through life so effortlessly, while you feel everything 10 times more intensely? Why a single comment can echo in your mind for days? Why a small moment of beauty can suddenly bring tears to your eyes? If you've ever felt like your emotional world is louder, deeper, and more complicated than the people around you, you're not broken, you're wired differently. And what you're about to discover might change the way you understand yourself forever. Because emotional depth isn't a weakness, it's a language. Most people never learn how to speak it. Today, I'm going to decode what it really means to be emotionally deep, why life hits you the way it does, how your brain processes the world differently, and how to turn that sensitivity into strength instead of something you constantly have to manage or hide. If you stay with me until the end, you'll see your inner world through a completely different lens, one that finally makes sense. 1. Your brain is built for meaning, not survival mode. Most people move through life reacting. They notice what's happening around them, but it barely scratches the surface of their emotional world. But if you're someone with emotional depth, your brain doesn't just observe. It interprets, analyzes, absorbs, and connects patterns instantly. Highly sensitive and emotionally deep individuals have brains wired for meaning, not just survival. When something happens, your mind automatically asks, what does this really mean? Why did they say it that way? What's the deeper intention behind this moment? What does this experience reveal about who I am? Most people stop at the surface. You go straight to the core. This is why emotional events hit you harder. Your mind isn't content with a simple explanation. It digs until it understands. And yes, it can be exhausting. But it's also what makes you intuitive, emotionally intelligent, and capable of connection on a level most people never experience. Your emotional depth isn't overthinking, it's overfeeling, and it's how your mind has learned to navigate the world. Once you stop judging it and start using it, you'll realize it's one of the most powerful gifts a person can have. 2. You feel deeply because you notice. What others miss: emotionally deep people don't just feel emotions, they absorb them. You pick up micro-expressions, tone shifts, energy changes, pauses, and subtleties that most people never even register. This ability creates 3 powerful and sometimes painful realities. You sense emotional truth instantly. You can tell when someone's pretending to be fine. You can feel when energy changes in a room. You know when someone is hiding something, even if you can't explain how. You feel emotional weight. Every situation has a tone, a texture, a temperature to you. A random interaction at the grocery store might stay with you for hours because it carried something emotionally significant that your mind is still processing. You internalize emotions even when they're not yours. You don't just understand how someone feels, you feel it with them. This is why crowded spaces, conflict, or emotionally charged environments can drain you more than they do others. But here's the psychological truth. This isn't a flaw, it's attunement. While most people live in a fog of emotional distraction, you are tuned in. You experience the world in high resolution, with full volume and unfiltered detail. That intensity can feel like too much, but it's also what makes your capacity for empathy, connection, and love extraordinary. 3. Your nervous system is more open and more honest. Emotional depth is not just about personality. It's biology. People with deep emotional sensitivity often have nervous systems that are more reactive, more aware, and more open to sensory and emotional input. That means emotions hit faster, experiences stay longer, thoughts run deeper, and feelings echo more intensely through your body. You don't feel too much. You feel what is actually there, without the emotional filters most people automatically use to numb themselves. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it was built to do. Capture reality with precision and honesty. But here's the part no one talks about. Because you feel everything more intensely, the world often misunderstands you. They see sensitive, you see accurate. They see emotional, you see present. You see dramatic, you see real. And if no one ever explained this to you, you may have spent years thinking something was wrong with you, when in reality, You were simply built differently. Built for depth, not speed. Built for meaning, not noise. For your emotional depth is a superpower. Once you stop fighting it for much of your life, your emotional intensity may have felt like a burden. Maybe people told you to stop taking things so personally or just let it go. Maybe you've tried to numb, shut down, or hide the way you feel because it felt easier than being misunderstood again. But here's the truth. You're emotional. Depth is not meant to be controlled. It's meant to be channeled. When you learn how to use it, you gain stronger intuition. You can read people, situations, and intentions with remarkable accuracy, deeper. Relationships, your connections aren't shallow or transactional. They're rooted. It's meaningful and transformative. Greater creativity. Emotionally deep people create the world's most powerful art, ideas, and innovation because their inner world is rich and constantly evolving. Higher emotional intelligence. You don't just feel emotions, you understand them. And that awareness becomes wisdom when you stop resisting it. The shift happens the moment you stop asking, "Why am I like this?" and start asking, "How can I use this?" Your depth is not the problem. Resisting your depth is 5. You're meant to feel deeply, and the world needs people like you. If you've ever felt too emotional, too intense, or too sensitive, maybe it's because you grew up in a world that celebrates numbness over awareness. But everything about who you are, your intensity, your empathy, your intuition, your depth is needed now more than ever. You see the things others ignore. You understand what others avoid. You feel what others fear. And that makes you powerful in ways you may not even realize yet. The world doesn't change because of people who feel nothing. It changes because of people who feel deeply and choose to turn that depth into impact. CTA, a natural invitation. If this spoke to something inside you, if it felt like someone finally put words to the emotional world you've been carrying your whole life, then don't stop here. Awaken Mindset was created for minds like yours, minds that feel deeply, think intensely, and want to understand themselves on a higher level. Watch the full video to dive deeper into emotional depth, psychology, and learn how to turn your sensitivity into strength. If you recognize yourself in this message, hit subscribe. You'll feel at home here. Share this with someone who feels deeply. They might need to hear this today. Your emotional depth is not a burden. It's your blueprint. And once you embrace it, everything changes.